Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Beyond measure.
I'm gonna show you how great I am. Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark. I'm gonna show you how great I am. Only last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Good evening, everyone. Like a bonehead, I let the screen test on. Cheers, everyone. Have a wonderful evening together. If you want to get the glass, check out the website, jds2cents.com. Got all my links on there. T-shirt I'm wearing, proud, straight, Caucasian, conservative, Christian male. Forgot what I said for a sec. Here is the shameless shirt plug. So if you like that shirt or my other shirts, I just came out with the Commie-Crat shirt, which I will have up for our live stream hopefully tomorrow. It is on the shirt store now though. So jds2cents.com. Also in the ticker below, you will see the website. Not a whole lot of news going on today, but we've had a lot of news from last week. All the wins for President Trump, starting with the debate. We need to keep that narrative going. Cheers, guys, to the win debate. And yeah, we really need to keep that narrative going. Because what you see the Democrats doing now, they're trying to just spin. They're literally, I've seen people on Twitter digging up 10-year-old stories and trying to put that out there just to spin and to distract from the absolutely deplorable debate situation that happened with Biden. That's why we got to keep it on the air. Keep it in the forefront. Got to fight back. I think one of our problems as conservatives, as right-wingers, is we have this little pesky thing called morality, which drives us to believe the best in people. And with Democrats, they are so far gone. I should say commie-crats. I want to distinguish between Democrats, who are the people that vote Democrat still, blue chip Democrats especially, those elderly people that voted for John F. Kennedy Jr., or voted for John F. Kennedy, saw him assassinated. That's going to galvanize anyone into a party. I don't care who you are. So I think those people have really, they bury their head in the sand, so to speak, but not willingly. It's because they lived through that shit as a Democrat, when the Democratic Party was still pro-American, is the best way to say it. Commie-crats, on the other hand, are these assholes in the government, the vast majority, if not all, Democrats in Congress, definitely those in the White House, definitely those in the higher echelons of the fourth branch of government, which is the deep state, the three-letter agencies. Those are what I call commie-crats. And because they're straight-up communists, Marxists. They literally want to bring in communism to this great nation. And so far they're succeeding. And why they are is because right-wingers like us have this little pesky thing called morality, which they don't have. They're totally immoral. They're way far gone as far as that's concerned. So they have no qualms about running over people because they don't care. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about spirituality, religion, all the good things in life. That they don't care about family. That's the biggest one. I need to do a whole show on the nuclear family and why that is so fundamental. But I digress. Let's stay on point. So the debate. We need to keep this in the forefront, but our morality holds us back, and we're like, oh, we'll let it fade away. They learned their lesson. No, they didn't, guys. Sorry, newsflash. And they never will. That's the point. They never will learn their lesson. They think that they are entitled to be your leader, and not just your leader, your slave master. Remember that. They believe they were born into positions of power, and that you are just a disgusting piece of trash put here to serve them. And don't ever think otherwise of the commie-crats. That is what they think. I guarantee it. They won't ever admit to that, but I guarantee it. Just look at how they treat you. Look at how they talk about you. Look at Hillary Clinton. Deplorables. I mean, that's a great one-word definition for what I just spoke about. She views you as trash, as lower than her, as a slave. And she's just one example. You can look at pretty much anyone in Congress that has a voice on the Democratic side of the aisle, and you'll find the same attitude, just looking down their nose at you. How dare you look at me, slave? How dare you question me, slave? So we need to question. And not only question, we need to keep pushing back and keep throwing that despicable debate in their face. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. But before we do that, I want to start on a good note, end on a good note for every episode. That's my goal. 99% of things you worry about will never happen. Remember that. So live in today. Let tomorrow worry about itself. It's one of my favorite passages of Scripture. I don't have the site. I've never been good with memorizing Scripture or memorizing the actual passage that it came from. But when Christ is talking about, and even if you're not a Christian, it's still just a great lesson for all of us. Tomorrow has enough worry of its own, or today has enough worry of its own. Don't even worry about tomorrow. I'm God. I care about the birds. I care about the flowers. So how much more do I care about you, a human being? It's what it says in a nutshell. And it's one of my favorite passages, if not my favorite, of Holy Scripture. So with that, I digress, but I want to encourage you today. 99% of things you worry about will never happen. Remember that. And I would even go as far as to say 99.999% of things you worry about will never happen. So with that, let's hop on X. And the first thing I want to show you, of course, is the debate. And how, not the whole debate, we're not going to sit here and rehash the whole debate, but what I did is I took Joe Biden from 2020 and set him right next to 2024 Joe Biden. And look at the stark difference between these two men, because they are completely different men. One still has half a brain, and the other's brain is nearly completely gone. So with that, let's jump into it, guys.
President Trump, thank you. President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this. And looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you,
The
Jim.
American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, What's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that, he ran on that, and he's been governing on that.
Okay, so that's 2020.
President Trump, thank you. Same question.
Inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a
Night and
position
day.
where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along. It's happening now, and everybody in America.
And to you, Vice President Biden, you have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jim.
The American people have a right. Inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff.
Sorry, I keep clicking the... Sorry, guys. Keep clicking the wrong part of the screen. My apologies. Somewhat coherent, Joe Biden. Still very coherent. I remember noticing his dementia back in 2020 because looking back at Biden even earlier than that, you can tell there was a decline already. And I was like, this guy has dementia. I can't believe he's lasted 4 more years, honestly. That's how devastating this disease is. And my heart bleeds for any family that has to go through that process, the years-long process of watching someone they love in front of them deteriorate before them. Now with the Bidens, I have zero sympathy whatsoever. This guy is a pedophile. He showered with his, I believe, preteen daughter. It may have been a little further, like 14 years old. Whatever, it's still disgusting. What good father would ever even consider doing that with his daughter of any age? Okay? I remember our mother bathing us in the bathtub when we were, well, don't remember, I saw pictures of it when we were young. That's different. My father never did that. And you hear what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. And I have multiple posts on my feed recently showcasing that. We all remember the groping of the little girls. And I have GIFs that show that. Okay, I don't have it for the show tonight, but check out my feed on X and scroll down a bit. You'll see it. Absolutely disgusting individual. His son Hunter is a train wreck because of it. His son Hunter is basically his slave. Just does all his bidding for him. I forget the nickname Hunter has for him, but you guys know the stories. Jill Biden, she's a whole nother level of evil. That she would sit there and continue to roll this ball down the court when she just wants to make more money, I think. It's disgusting. Like, you don't have enough money already, Jill? You don't have enough stuff already? You gotta continue to hang your brain-dead husband out there in front of the eye of the world? Continue to perpetuate it? It's just, I have zero sympathy for the Bidens. Zero. They're all disgusting. And as a Christian, I hope, and I hope that they find Jesus. Well, that Jesus finds them. That's the right way to say it. I'm a Calvinist. So I was brought up Arminian, under Arminian teachings, and I'll go into all that later podcast. But, sorry, I'm having a Biden moment there. Anyways, I digress. Sticking to the story here, you guys can see the clear difference. And if you want to watch it, it's pinned to the top of my profile right now, and it'll be in my highlights for a while. Guys, this president, well, I shouldn't even call him that. He's not my president. Trump has been my president since 2016. That's how I view it. I do not pledge allegiance at all to this guy. At all. He stole the election. Harris stole the election. Whether they were complicit in it or not, which I believe they were, I have no evidence of that. But I do have gobs of evidence that the election was stolen by a bunch of commie-crats. So not only are there commie-crats in the White House, in Congress, in the fourth branch of government, which is the deep state, which I believe were behind orchestrating. Deep state was behind orchestrating the mass ballot fraud across the nation and in key states like Georgia, for instance. Commie-crats have invaded every part of our society, but the good news is they are the vast, vast minority, like below 5% of the population, probably below 1% of the population. So that is very scary in one hand, but it's also very encouraging on the other hand, because all we have to do is wake up as a people and stop taking their bullshit. That's it. No, N-O, is one of the most powerful words in the English language, and in other languages too, that have no. It's an actual no word. But just start saying no. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. No. You cannot have my child and chop their dick or their tits off because it'll make you feel better about yourself being a crazy person that wants to do that to yourself. No. You cannot harvest ballots anymore. No, we're not going to subscribe to a digital voting system called Dominion anymore that is connected to the internet. It has been proven time and time again to be faulty. We're going to go back to paper ballots. You get what I'm saying. Now this will take time, but it starts with saying no. We have to start standing together, arm in arm, and saying, no, we're not putting up with this Marxist bullshit anymore. So with that, let's move forward. Where are we at? 18 minutes after. Wow. I've talked for a long time already. Sorry. I'll keep my commentary going here. The back half of the hour is yours. If anyone's here watching, appreciate you. And you can call in. And the ticker below is the phone number. You can call in live. The space should be live now. Let me double check on that real quick. I had it scheduled to go live. It doesn't look like it did, though. So let me just open up the space real quick. Just bear with me, guys. Just say news. And we'll start it now. We'll record it. Oh, manage scheduled spaces. Start now. I had to hit start now still. That's weird. Well, if it'll let me. Allow. Hopefully this doesn't kill my mic. Let me go into OBS real quick. So the space is open for anyone who wants to join. It looks like my mic is still picking up on OBS, so good. That seems to be working. Awesome. Okay, next story. Jenna Ellis. Half of me agrees with her on this, half of me totally disagrees with her on this, and I want to dissect as to why. She said, you cannot be a faithful Christian and a faithful Republican after today. You cannot be loyal to two contradicting stances. She goes on to say, for a long time, Christians have said it's impossible to be a faithful Christian and vote Democrat because of their policies. Well, choose ye this day whom you will serve. She's using King James Version Bible. That's why she's talking like that. Which is fine. I am a big fan of King James Version. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So she's quoting from Joshua there, the book of Joshua. And she says, I am not and will not be a member of the Republican Party under this platform. You can read the article for yourself. Well, it's pretty short, so I'll go ahead and read it. RNC adopts Trump's abortion stance, softens on same-sex marriage. This has been happening since 2020. Actually, 2016, when he first came down the escalator. This has always been Trump's stance since he became a Republican. Okay, so it hasn't softened any in the last 8 years. RNC adopts Trump's abortion stance, softens on same-sex marriage. The Republican National Committee's Platform Committee has adopted a policy document reflecting former President Donald Trump's stance on abortion, which opposes a federal abortion ban and leaves the issue to be decided by individual states. This marks a significant shift from the party's previous positions, as it omits a national ban for the first time in 40 years. The platform also softens language on same-sex marriage, aligning with Trump's views. These changes reflect Trump's influence on the party's direction and have been met with varied reactions from both within and outside the Republican Party. She's obviously reacting very strongly, saying she's not going to vote, not going to be part of the platform anymore. She's just going to be out there. This is why I know she's not going to vote. Joey Manarino said, we have an election to win. And she replies with, so you're fine with the Republican Party becoming Democrat in order to win? First, just in that statement, that's not true. As we've gone over, the Commie-crats in Washington, D.C. are so far left, they've fallen off the edge of the cliff, and they're too far gone. They're the living dead as far as the left goes. And on the right, there's the same type of people, like neo-Nazis and all of that. They're just too far gone. When you go too far left or right, eventually you fall off a cliff and you become a brain-dead zombie, basically. A living dead person that cannot see nor will accept anything from the other side, whether it be good, bad, ugly. You're not open to any opinion anymore. And that's a very dangerous person. It's a very dangerous place to end up as a person. I don't think Jenna Ellis is that far. She's nowhere near the cliff, but she's moving that direction. I am a Calvinist. I consider myself, and not to toot my horn here, it took years and years, decades, and still is taking more time, and will to the day I die. I'm so hard-headed when it comes to faith, and I wrestle with God all the time. He always wins, he puts me in my place, and then he blesses me, which just blows my mind. Why I'm saying this? I see myself in Jenna Ellis, my 10 years in the past self. I was so angry. Why is all this happening to my country? And I'm going to stand up as a Christian, to stand against this unrighteousness, and I'm going to change the world, man. Well, that didn't happen, obviously. And I've softened a lot in this area. God reeled me back from the cliff, so to speak. He said, Josh, you don't have it all figured out. You never will. Just trust in my providence that every single thing that happens every single day, not only in your life, but in everyone's life, I'm in control of. I have the last say. And it's all working out in my grand plan. I am the artist. You guys are the pigment. and nature is the canvas. Or a better way to put it, quoting an Alcoholics Anonymous publication that a lot of you may be familiar with, I'm the director, as in God, I am the director, you are the actors. I give you the stage. In that stage, you have the freedom to do what you will. And I hope that you stick to my script. But if you don't, that's fine. It'll still be a play. And ultimately, I'm still in charge. I'm the director. Okay? I'll go more in depth on this stuff later as well. But I think you hear what I'm saying in this context. So Jenna Ellis was me 10 years ago. I get where she's coming from. And I love her passion. Then she says, what really did you win? So let's go back to her comment about Democrat. So you're fine with the Republican Party becoming... The Republican Party is still far right from the Commocrats, that's for sure. Now, compared to past, I would place the Republican Party as the Democratic Party in 1960. Yeah, like, we have shifted that far left, where we're now more centrist, even left party in the past. But today, we're still the right wing. And then she says, what really did you win? And then I'll keep my integrity, thanks, which is a put down to Joey, saying he has no integrity because he's actually going to vote in the election. I don't like how she put that there. It's a personal slam. It's an ad hominem. It's Jenna Ellis. Being a Christian, you need to be above that type of stuff. I'm guilty of that as well. So I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you're shooting yourself in the foot, Jenna, because you're saying, well, I'm this great Christian that's going to separate myself from any political party because I have nowhere to live now politically. And then you slam a guy who simply said we have an election to win. And he's right. So Joey is right. We have an election to win because if we don't elect people as Christians in this nation, then, excuse my language, we're fucked. Okay? You'll realize that about me. I air my flaws on this channel. And for all the people that are going to point, oh, you're a Christian and you talk like that? Well, yeah, I do. The person you see on camera is the person I am in my personal life. That's just what you get. Okay? I'm not going to be this two-faced hypocrite. A Christian should not be a hypocrite. And should I talk like that? No, but I do. And Tony Evans, I think, had a great point when he said, you know what? Sometimes it takes hard language for people, smack them across the face so they'll wake the fuck up. And I really like that. Again, I shouldn't do it as a Christian. Absolutely right. But you know what? I'm flawed. I accept my flaws. And I know that Jesus died on the cross and God forgives me. So, anyways, moving forward on a rabbit trail. I agree with the part of Jenna Ellis that's like, we need to stand up for Christian values, but you can't do that unless you have representatives in government that have your values. And you can't have representatives in government that have your values if you don't vote. So you saying you're not going to vote anymore, it's idiotic. It's absolutely idiotic. True Christians, well, let me backpedal that. I believe you're a true Christian, Jenna, from what I read. You're just fired up and you're angry. I get that. But you gotta pull it back, girl. You have to not be part of the world, but you still have to live in this world. And what kind of world do you want to live in? And more importantly, what kind of world do you want to leave to your kids behind? Regardless if you think Jesus is coming back soon or not. He may not. It may be 1,000 years away still. None of us knows. So with that, that's my 30 minutes, guys. See if anyone's here. Anyone wants to chat. There's no one in the the spaces, so I'm going to go ahead. Well, I'll leave it open for a second, but I'm going to wrap it up because that's my time. Let me know what you think. If you see this later, please leave comments. Leave your 2 cents below this live stream so I know what you think. And I'm going to keep doing this, guys. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Every night, Monday through Friday, save federal holidays. So, yeah, it's been a blast, guys. I spoke a lot on just 2 subjects tonight. I had others to go. I always want to leave on a high note. So back to the original. Remember, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough worry of its own, and God has you. So remember, 99.99% of things you worry about will never happen. Remember that. Embrace that. And live in today. Live in the present moment. Hug your kids. Hug your pets. Live right now. That's the most powerful thing you can do for yourself and for others. With that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I don't have any calls coming in. God bless. Cheers. Remember to check out the website. And I will see you on the flip side. Good night, guys.